I think it's true that there's the brain, there are neurons firing, and there's the mind. Okay, but regarding the mind itself, we have barely scratched the surface of how it works. What do you mean by creativity? What do you mean by consciousness? What do you mean by self-awareness?
Scientists now understand how much of the brain works inside the skull, but are still trying to discover how the mind can affect the world outside of its casing. In Paris, medical astrologer Franz Anton Mesmer stumbled almost by accident upon hypnosis. At the time, Mesmer was experimenting with magnets as a means of curing illness.
Well, Franz Mesmer would have people sit in a tub, and he used magnets with these tubs, and it was often referred to as animal magnetism, which is interesting because magnets have recycled again today, and medical doctors are using electromagnetism as a way of healing.
Mesmer first believed that the magnets exerted the invisible force of animal magnetism. Later, he thought that the force emanated from within him, and he abandoned the magnets. In actuality, Mesmer had only rediscovered another lost occult art. The first induced hypnotic performance, recorded on papyrus in a British museum, was given at the court of Khufu in Egypt over 5,000 years ago. Later, seers at the Greek oracle of Delphi used self-hypnosis to foresee the future.
Modern hypnosis, as practiced in the United States, begins with Franz Mesmer. But if you go back even further, every culture has a way of going into a trance. It could be using music, it could be using dance, it could be sitting in meditation.
His treatment became popular in the 1770s, and Mesmer's fame quickly spread as scores of patients claimed themselves cured through mesmerism.
He was able to put people in a trance and suggest to them things that were good, like getting better, like healing. He became famous for that, and they actually had to have a committee of scientists, and that was actually Ben Franklin was one of the committee who tried to decide whether anything about this was real or not. They said, well, mesmerism works, but we think it works because of the imagination. Not some other operative principle.
Mesmer was dismissed by many as a quack, but in 1843, London surgeon John Elliotson began using what he called the mesmerizing coma to perform major surgery without pain. Anesthesia had yet to be invented, and Elliotson's technique resulted in more than 300 successful operations. Mesmer's influence was short-lived. With the discovery of ether, hypnosis was once again dismissed by traditional medicine.
So rather than pick up on the idea that our beliefs can help us heal and help us recover, they just discounted the work of Mesmer.
But he had laid the foundation for modern hypnosis, a practice that is now accepted as a form of treatment by the medical establishment. Hypnosis relies on suggestibility, imagination.
Our bodies can't distinguish between a real and imagined experience. For example, there was a recent study done with anger and heart disease. How researchers got people angry is they had them imagine situations that made them angry. And so just as they imagined themselves angry, their body responded as if they were actually had reason, cause to be angry, and there was a change that they were able to identify. But the real beauty of this experiment was the power of the imagination. Our imaginations can make us angry, or our imaginations can make us happy and peaceful. Whether we're angry or whether we're happy is our choice.
An entire field of alternative medicine has developed that utilizes imagining techniques to promote healing.
There are over 22 studies done on visualization and cancer healing. 18 of those studies conclusively shows visualization helps fight cancer.
It's no surprise. Obviously, the brain regulates our bodily functions. So if you could influence the brain, either through meditation, through developing certain frequencies of brain waves, through introducing images and ideas, of course you're going to be able to have an effect on the materiality of disease.